Well, full time, Arsenal 0 to Aston Villa. Not a result that we expected because of how Villa came into this game of football with lots of injuries, and Douglas Luiz banned for 2 games, and they had really gone ahead to have a very bad run, but they went ahead to obviously come out, shock the side of Arsenal in a very, very, very shocking way altogether. But Arsenal is the one to blame. I tell you, when you get your chances, like how Arsenal went ahead to gate pouring chances into the first half, Jesus had one, Trossard had one, Kai Havertz had one, I think even Saka had one. They had like 5 chances to obviously put this game to bed in the first half, but they went ahead to fail. And guess what happened? Aston Villa had, I think, 1 chance in the first half, and it was stopped by the bottom post. Then in the second half, they hit the frame of the bar, and then they sort of hit that Leon Bailey comes in through to obviously put them ahead, and then Oli Watkins, the dying minutes, went ahead to obviously kill off the game by scoring the second goal. Welcome to the Rokani Media Football. How are you guys? And where are you watching us from? I go by the names of Rokani David. Smash like button, comment and share. If you're only watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a daily. In a moment where Liverpool went ahead to lose the game of football, everyone thought that Arsenal would have gone ahead to capitalize onto this and see to it that they really go 3 points ahead of Liverpool and really get on top of the Premier League table. But it was never the case, and it really looked out to be one of those worst moments that you'll ever want to see your team in. And to me, I think Arsenal have gone ahead to give the trophy to Man City. They've gone ahead to give the trophy to Man City, coming in through and really losing this game of football that would have gone ahead to keep you a point ahead of Man City is really alarming, because if you lose a game like this against Aston Villa at home, how are you going to perform when you're going to play away at Tottenham Hotspur over the weekend? That is it, because you have to play in Bayern Munich on Wednesday, then fly back to London and prepare for the game of Tottenham Hotspur. It's going to be the North London derby. And is Arsenal going to really down tools and implode like they did last season? Because last season they imploded when they're having 9 games to go. This season, the imploding has gone ahead to obviously commence when they had 7 games to go, and the 7th game has gone ahead not to go into their favor, and they're really having some hard teams ahead of them. They're having Aston Villa done, Tottenham Hotspur in the mix, they're having Manchester United, there is Wolverhampton Wanderers. All those teams can shock Arsenal, meaning that the mentality test again, Arsenal's going to have to fail it, because you can't lose out a game like this. Aston Villa went to Etihad and they were beaten by 4-1. That was, I think, midweek. I think like 2 weeks back. Arsenal comes in through, hosts the same team. They failed to really kill off their chances because Arsenal had this game at its grip. Let's all admit, they had the control of this game. 2 teams were playing what we call high defensive high lines, and they really put in a shift. But a team that went ahead to kill off its chances and utilize it very well went ahead obviously with the game of football. I can easily relate this game to the game of Tottenham Hotspur and Newcastle over the weekend. Newcastle was at home. They went ahead to have 27% of the possession. They went ahead to win the game of football, and they went ahead to annihilate the side of Tottenham Hotspur. And the same thing is going to have to happen to Arsenal. 2 chances, and Arsenal was buried. He was buried. So Aston Villa, never did they need to do a lot, but all they did was simple. They are really clinical, and out of the chances they got, they made sure they really killed them off. And Arsenal will obviously have to cry for their missed chances that they went ahead to obviously miss out of that game of football. And I tell you, it's all about what we call fate, and no one can come out and really show exactly how things will go ahead to happen. And at Emirates, Arsenal have gone ahead to drop other points, and remember, they've gone ahead to drop more points at Emirates than away from home, because they dropped 2 against Tottenham Hotspur, they dropped 2 against Fulham, they dropped 3 against West Ham, and they went ahead to drop 3 against Aston Villa. They've gone ahead to drop 7 points at home. And away from home, they dropped 2 against Man City. They dropped 2 against Liverpool. 3 against Fulham. Have they gone ahead to lose any other games? I doubt. So Arsenal has found themselves in a situation of really losing out on games like that, and it's really very, 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 very bad. And Arsenal over the last 11 games have been something else. Obviously, in the last 11 games, they've gone ahead obviously putting through. Arsenal have gone ahead to obviously do the needful. They've gone ahead to win 9. In the last 12 games, Arsenal has gone ahead to win 10, drawn 1, and lost 1. For that form, it's not bad, but it depends on who is really behind you. Who is really behind you? It's none other than Man City. And when you give Man City a chance like that, obviously, they are going to really go ahead and really capitalize onto that and win the game of football. Very soon, I'm going to show you the games that Arsenal is left with and the games Man City are left with. And we weigh in and see who is really standing a chance to see to it that everything goes on as planned. And for Martin Odegaard, getting that hit in his chest and felt like he never really felt breathing very well, it was really a huge game changer. Martin Odegaard is the person that really gives you the control that you want. I've gone ahead to see people slating the manager. He took off Martin Odegaard, but the player was not feeling okay. What did you want the manager to do? The player was not feeling okay, and all what the manager had to do was to see to it that he really takes off the player to really put him in a shift. But it shows you how winning a trophy in the Premier League is obviously becoming hard, and how this City side can really turn out results, because Man City were really third, and in a fortnight they are topping the table at the same number of points with the side of Arsenal. So that is really very questionable of what Arteta is going to do with his players. That when a bad day in office comes, how do you obviously react? Because they had a very bad day in office when they're playing against Aston Villa. So when they're playing against Bayern Munich in the midweek, and they managed to obviously overcome that, though it was a draw. And there is a second chance for them because it's a 2-leg tie. In the Premier League, you obviously have to understand that things are not going to go the way he wants to go, and they will need to see to it that they really turn up and live up to the expectation. I thought that Aston are going to have to come in through a more hungry team and really get means of really scoring in goals. And Arteta, at a certain point X, just had to really get Zinchenko off the field of play. I think one of the reasons why Arsenal conceded that goal, the first one, is because Arsenal kept Zinchenko on the field of play. Arteta kept Zinchenko on the field of play. Look where Zinchenko was when Arsenal was being attacked. Declan Rice was like covering onto the left back, and Zinchenko was playing as a right back. Can you imagine? Who does that in world football? You know, we also to it that Zinchenko was vulnerable in that game of football, and at a point X, he needed to take him off. Now, if he took off Jakub Kiwior 45 minutes in, after the first half, where they had gone ahead to concede 2 against Bayern Munich, what made him think that Zinchenko could go on and really give him results? Because the difference that Zinchenko gives is inverting into the midfield, and his inversions had not gone ahead to obviously give you results. You understand? And you saw how they had gone ahead to obviously have a miscommunication in between him and Gabriel Magalhaes on the ball that was denied to cross the goal of Arsenal by the lower bottom corner. You get? Meaning that, however much Zinchenko came into this game of football as one of the most experienced player in such moments, that couldn't obviously come to the help of the side of of Arsenal, because he couldn't really show what we call the leadership that everyone would have gone ahead to really demand from him. In the 84th minute, Leon Bailey went ahead to obviously put Arsenal ahead because of Zinchenko being out of position. Oli Watkins was then, 3 minutes later, Oli Watkins went ahead to obviously level up into that game of football. And a little bit of experience lacked in the Arsenal side. They looked naive. They really went ahead to throw very many bodies in the half of Aston Villa, and Aston Villa had to hit them on the break, and they left Emily Smith-Rowe to defend against Oli Watkins. That was really naive of Arsenal, and this is what experience brings. And I remember when Arsenal was playing against FC Porto, when it was 1-0, he told his players not to obviously go. He told Gabriel Magalhaes and William Saliba not to go. He would have gone ahead to leave one player who was really fast enough and strong enough to obviously take on Oli Watkins, but he couldn't. And I think he lost his head, and a little bit of experience and a little bit of inexperience kicked into that. Then Arsenal had 18 shots. Aston Villa had 11. 4 shots on target by Arsenal, and all those shots were really saved by the goalkeeper. Then it shows you how bad Arsenal looked. You know, they would have gone ahead to get 9 shots on target, and the composure really lacked into that game of football. 2 shots on target by Aston Villa, and those 2 shots went ahead to cross the line. 52% ball possession by Arsenal, 48% ball possession by Aston Villa. 444 passes completed by Arsenal. Aston Villa completed 421, 86% passing accuracy by Arsenal. Aston Villa had 82% passing accuracy. 12 fouls by Arsenal. Then 7 fouls by the side of Aston Villa. And then 3 yellow cards to Arsenal, 1 yellow card to Aston Villa. No red cards issued. 5 offsides to Arsenal, 1 offside to Aston Villa. 4 corners to Arsenal and 6 corners to Aston Villa. And the table really looks like this. Man City has gone ahead to play 32 games. They've gone ahead to really win 22. They've drawn 7, lost 3, and 76 goals scored, 32 goals conceded, 44 as the goal difference, and they're having 73 points, seated on top of the Premier League table. Sorry about that. Seated on top of the Premier League table with 2 points ahead of Arsenal. Arsenal second, 22 games won, 5 draws, 5 losses, 75 goals scored, 26 conceded, a goal difference of 49, and they're having 71 points. When you look at that table, you look at it and really understand that it might obviously look to be hard for the side of Arsenal, because the goal difference looks like Man City are really closing it in. They put 4 in yesterday as a goal difference. As the goal difference there, and Arsenal ahead to concede 2. From 51, they've gone ahead to obviously go back to 49. And Liverpool, 32 games, 71 points. Looks like Aston Villa have gone ahead to clinch their spot of the Champions League, according to me, because they only need to get more 7 points. When they clinch 70 points, they would have gone ahead to obviously go that level. They've gone ahead to stretch 13 points ahead of Man United, and 13 points ahead of Newcastle. That would be teams that would obviously go ahead and really stop them. So Aston Villa need to do the needful and really win 2 games. When they win 2 games, I think they are through to playing in the Champions League next season. So that's how the Premier League table is really looking. But you'll ask yourself, where does this leave Arteta when he's heading to Bayern Munich on Wednesday? It's really a very, very demoralizing moment, and it's going to be a very huge test for the players of Arsenal. They were on the verge of really winning. They're on the verge of winning 2 trophies, because you cannot rule out Man City and you cannot rule out Arsenal because of the remaining games they're really having. But the opponents they're really having are really huge compared to those of Man City. And when you look at the side of Bayern Munich, they've gone ahead to really rest players, and they're going to be playing against. They played against Cologne, and they comfortably won by 2-0, though Coleman was really injured, and Sergeant Gnabry is also out. So Arsenal might have an edge, but how are they really gonna react from losing to a side called Aston Villa to really getting through to the semi-finals of the Champions League? Because I think the only thing that can really motivate them is them leaving this side of London, go to Munich and really get some points there and go through to the semi-finals. And I think that will be a very huge boost. But Arsenal have a chance that over the weekend, Man City is not playing. Man City is going to be playing into the FA Cup, and that means they'll have a game in hand and they'll play it later, I think, into the Won't it be the midweek? Let me see. 20th, right? Meaning that on 25th, it will be, I think, a Thursday. They'll have to come in through and really play against Brighton. So, Man City is having the remaining fixtures. Brighton away, Nottingham Forest away, Wolverhampton Wanderers at home, Fulham away, Tottenham Hotspur away, West Ham at the Etihad Stadium. Now, these are the games that Man City is left with, and you ask yourselves, what are the hardest game in this? I think the game of Brighton is going to be hard. The game of Nottingham is going to be hard. The game of Spurs away is going to be hard. But what of Arsenal? Arsenal has to play Man United, you know. Arsenal has to play Tottenham Hotspur. Arsenal has to play Wolverhampton Wanderers. Arsenal has to play Chelsea. Arsenal has to play Bournemouth. Arsenal has to play Everton. So, those are the remaining 6 games for the club of Arsenal. And you ask yourself, how is Arsenal going to overcome these games? Because talking about Man City dropping points is okay. But do you think Arsenal is going to win all its games? That is the huge question that you ever want to go ahead and ask yourself. Do you think Arsenal is going to go ahead and win its games? Because the only way you can say Man City can drop a point all points and Arsenal benefit is Arsenal being rest assured that they can really win all their remaining games. If they cannot do that, then it's really going to look very, very bad for them to obviously lift up this trophy, because Man City, we know they can get shocked, and they're really having a very hectic fixture, because they play on Wednesday. On Saturday they are at Wembley. Then they play against Brighton, and you never know, Brighton would have gone ahead to rest for some days, and they can obviously come in and really put in a shift to obviously stop this side. So I don't know exactly how Arsenal will get back into the equation, but the only possibility for Arsenal to really win the trophy is simple. Go down and really look at your games. Win your remaining 6 games. Wolverhampton Wanderers, Bournemouth, Chelsea, Tottenham Hotspur, Manchester United, and Everton. 6 games. And what will this mean if Arsenal don't win the trophy to their transfer policy? Their transfer policy will obviously come to getting to know that maybe they will need another player to do the job into the central midfielder like Douglas Luiz. That is it. They'll need another player to obviously come in through and obviously do the needful. Because when you look at Bukayo Saka, he had a very good first half. Second half, he was nowhere to be seen. And I tell you, there was no reason to keep Bukayo Saka on, because he was really naked and he was doing nothing on that field of play. He was the live wire in the first half. Him, Trossard, Kai Havertz, Jesus. But in the second half, I think I even leave on Gabriel Jesus to play as a right forward and take off Bukayo Saka, because Saka brought nothing to the table in the second half. There is nothing he brought to the table. You can as well agree with me. But it's very painful that me, as a fan of Man United, I saw Liverpool really lose and I was jubilated. I thought that Arsenal was going obviously to continue its run to obviously get him 3 points and stand up the Premier League table. But again, they've gone ahead to do the needful and really gift this to Man City. And you know what Man City does? You know, when they're on the top, 2 points ahead, they are going to really continue winning. And you never know what is really going to happen. And it's really very, very sad that they might win a 4th Premier League trophy in a row, and people are going to continue to call this a Farmers League, yet it's not really one. So your reactions to Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 2 are welcome in the comment section below. Rokani David is my name. May the living to God bless you abundantly. The Muslims Barakallahu Fikum. I've gone ahead to come in here and really tell you what my thoughts are about this, and I don't know what you think about this, but I tell you, it is really a very painful game that went ahead to obviously see United. Sorry to see Arsenal really drop points. Arsenal fans are really silent. I know most of you have obviously gone ahead to sleep, and that's the pain that football brings. And football pains hope, because I thought that Arsenal would have gone ahead to kill off the game, and no one is to blame today. Arsenal is to blame because they had all the chances to kill off the game, and guess what? They couldn't win and kill off the game. That is it. That is Arsenal for you. So, may the living to God bless you abundantly. Rokani David is my name. I sign out for now. See you later and bye-bye. So, good night. I'm returning with the player ratings and the manager's reaction to Arsenal 0, Aston Villa 2. Unai Emery has gone ahead to age Arteta at the Emirates. Ciao, ciao.